going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast. We are 10 days away from the first football game that we can watch where we genuinely can say, I don't know what the score is. I cannot wait. We are so close to the start of the NFL season, and I figure what better way to ring in the season than by going over the best teams in the league, the teams that you're going to want to watch. So today's video, we're going to discuss the top 10 rosters, okay? Now, not the 10 best teams. These aren't the 10 teams I think that are going to be the best in the league because a lot goes into that. This is strictly looking at the talent on the roster. That's it. Just the talent. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes make their teams the two of the best teams in the league. But maybe they aren't the two most talented rosters in the league. That is what we're going to look at in today's video. Also, with the season coming up, you guys, if you're not already subscribed, you're going to want to subscribe to us this year. This is going to be such a fun season. We'll have all of our division prediction videos coming out really, really soon here. We're going to get together and record all of those. There's going to be a punishment wheel for our pick competition. There's some good ones in there. We will go over all of that as we get a little bit closer to the season. So, normally I like to go from 10 to 1. I think there's a lot more drama at the bottom. I think that the top teams in this league are pretty clear. So today I'm going to do something different, and I'm going to start at number 1. So I think the best roster, and I don't think it's very close, you guys, the best roster in the NFL is the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they have the best roster from top to bottom. And I'll flash up these teams' depth charts so you guys can see what I'm talking about, what I'm working with. I mean, you go ahead and find me a weak spot on this team. You go ahead, because you can't. You sitting here looking at this, there's not a weak spot that you can point to and be like, aha, that's where they suck. Okay, maybe Jahan Dotson's not the best number 3 receiver in the league. That's pretty much your only weak spot. You have the best, if one of the best offensive lines in football. You have arguably the best defense in football. I mean, just all pros everywhere. They draft so well. It's super annoying. And like him or hate him, I don't really care. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback in this league, and he just won the Super Bowl. He just won Super Bowl MVP. The guy has been a stud. I'm not going to sit here and say he's, this second, third best quarterback in the league, but I think he's in the conversation for top 5, top 6. I think you can genuinely have that argument. And that's just the rest of the team is just so stacked. I don't have a whole lot else to say about this. It's the best roster in football, and it's truly not that close. Second best roster in the NFL, in my opinion, it's the AFC Eagles, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. You look at the roster, it's absolutely stacked. Lamar and Derrick Henry together is pretty much unstoppable, just straight up. That's an unbelievable rushing attack. And then you couple that with a really solid offensive line, Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely at tight end. You've got Zay Flowers, you've got Rashad Bateman, and if I'm not mistaken, they brought in DeAndre Hopkins this year too. You've got a multifaceted offense, right, where you're obviously run first, but you've got guys that can take the top off the defense. You've got guys that can run the intermediate routes. It's really well-rounded. And obviously Lamar Jackson elevates this a little bit because he's just that good. But their defense is actually the real story here. Their secondary consists of Jair Alexander, Kyle Hamilton, rookie Malachi Starks, who's an absolute steal, Marlon Humphreys, and first-round pick last year, Nate Wiggins. It's the best starting secondary in football, and it's pretty far number 1 in my opinion. And then you add in Roquan Smith, who's one of, if not the best middle linebackers in football. Nnamdi Madubuike is there. Kyle Van Noy has been really solid for them. This is a top 3, if not top 1 defense in the NFL. And then they had one of the better drafts once again, because that's all that they do is draft well. They get Malachi Starks there. They get just talent, man. It's unbelievable how they continue to do this. It's frustrating. It's annoying. It's just such a stupidly solid roster. I honestly can't stand it. Now, that doesn't always mean much, but again, we're just looking at rosters here. And the Ravens roster is absolutely loaded with talent. Third best roster in the NFL, in my opinion, a team that people are really down on this year, but it doesn't have anything to do with the talent, actually. It actually has a lot to do with the loss of both of their coordinators, and that's the Detroit Lions. So, yeah, you may not think Detroit is going to be as good as they were in last year's regular season. Now, playoffs, obviously they fell flat against Washington. But from a pure roster talent standpoint, I mean, what more do you want here? Goff is back, and he's been excellent. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are back. You still have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who leads the NFL in receptions since he joined the league. Like, he's number one with Tyreek Hill. Jameson Williams really started to show up as a deep threat last year. Sam Laporta's a really good tight end, and this offensive line is downright nasty and would be really fun to play behind. I'm not even going to bother listing them off. I love what they've done on the offensive line. And defensively, they've got talent at all three levels. I mean, they brought in DJ Reed to play corner opposite of Terrion Arnold. That's two really solid corners. They've got Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch as their two starting safeties. Two really good safeties. They've got Aiden Hutchinson coming back, by the way, someone I should probably mention, who had 7.5 sacks in, 5 games last year? Absolute stud. Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader, and Aleem McNeil. Actually, McNeil, I think, might be done for the season. He got hurt. But they also added Tyleik Williams in the draft in the first round, taking him out of Ohio State to play that defensive tackle position. They've got good linebackers. I mean, again, another team where it's like, where's the weak point at? Where are we like, ooh, this isn't good? They'll have a starting guard in Tate Ratledge, who I love and think is going to be excellent. I mean, yeah, Tim Patrick has a number 3. Again, it's the number 3 receiver where you're like, that's where they're weak, and that's not a problem. It's okay to be weak at number 3 wide receiver. That's okay. Detroit, I think, has the 3rd best roster, in my opinion. And honestly, these 3 teams are in tiers of their own, and then the rest of the top 10. The 4th best roster, in my opinion, is a tricky one. This is one where I kind of struggled on how to rank it. And again, this is why this is kind of a fun exercise, because it shows you not always is the best team the best roster. Sometimes you just have an elite best of all time quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. I got Kansas City's roster at number 4, and that feels both too high and too low to me, right? How are you going to have them as the 4th best roster? They've been to the last 3 Super Bowls. How are you going to have them as a top 4 roster when Rashee Rice just got suspended for X amount of games, however many that's going to be? He's going to spend 30 days in jail. They lost their starting guard in Joe Thuney, who also played tackle for them, and they don't really have any Tier 1 defensive players outside of Chris Jones. You see what I mean? Like, it's so tough to rank them, and people are going to argue about this, and I hope you do. Get in the comments and tell me which side you're on. Are the Chiefs in the right spot? Are they too high, too low? I'm curious to hear what you guys think. But Patrick Mahomes obviously skews this. This is a roster that has some superstars in Patrick Mahomes and Chris Jones, maybe Travis Kelce if he hasn't fallen off too much. Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith are the very best at their positions in the entire league, and they're back. I loved the Josh Simmons pick at the end of the first round. That was such a good pick. A guy coming off of a tough knee injury, but who's checking off all of these boxes already and will be ready to go. I anticipate him starting sooner rather than later. On the defensive side, it's just a bunch of grinders. It's just a bunch of guys that are going to get in your face and smack you in the mouth. It's not a ton of big names outside of Chris Jones and maybe Nick Bolton, I suppose. Trent McDuffie's solid. Like, they're a team that this roster is built to fit the scheme. The scheme isn't built to fit the roster. They bring in guys that fit Spagnuolo's scheme. So from that standpoint, it's like I want to take that out of it and just look at the roster, but that's hard to do. I think 4 is a reasonable spot to put them again, but I want to hear what you guys have to think about that. I want to know what you guys think. I'm keeping them at 4, and I feel okay about it. I don't love it. It's a tough spot. Number 5 roster in the NFL. This one might surprise you guys, but I'm really high on this team right now, as I feel like I should be. They put up the best fight against the number 1 roster last year. I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams at number 5 here, and stay with me. I know that this roster has been torn down and has been being rebuilt. I think it's pretty well rebuilt. Matt Stafford's still slinging it. Kyron Williams is still a very good running back. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and Tutu Atwell is a fantastic 1 through 3. It's fantastic. Tyler Higbee's a very serviceable tight end. They drafted Terrence Ferguson this past draft. Alaric Jackson, Steve Avila, Coleman Shelton, Kevin Dotson, and Rob Havenstein make up a middle-of-the-pack offensive line. It's nothing that's going to blow you away, but it's not anything that's an obvious liability either, in my opinion. But the defense is where they just have so much talent. So much talent on the defensive side of the ball. Braden Fisk was an excellent player last year, alongside of Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse. Byron Young, very, very good player. Kobe Turner, very, very good player. I love the depth that they have on this side of the ball as well. Guys like Tyler Davis being back there is really solid. Josiah Stewart's really, really solid. Then I love their secondary too. Cam Curl and Cam Kinchins is an excellent safety combo. Also, what are the odds that you have 2 safeties whose names are both Cameron and they both spell it Kamren? That's crazy. Darius Williams, Akella Witherspoon. It's just a really solid roster. There's not a whole lot of weak spots like there used to be, in my opinion. They've rebuilt a lot of it, and I'm high on the Rams this year. I think the Rams are going to be really good this year again. I'm looking forward to see what they can do on the offensive and defensive side of the ball because, like I said, man, this roster with a strong coaching staff too, they're going to be a tough out. Sixth best roster in my opinion, and credit given where it's due, man. Denver Broncos. They have built a heck of a roster here. You're basically, when you look at their roster, the wide receiving room isn't super inspiring. Cortland Sutton's a very good wide receiver. You're hoping to get more from the young guys, Marvin Mims, Devon Vele, Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, Trent Sherfield. You've got young talent there. You just need more from them. I like the addition of Evan Ingram as a safety blanket for Bo Nix. I like R.J. Harvey, J.K. Dobbins, and Estime as kind of your three-headed running back attack. I like that. The offensive line is excellent. It's an excellent offensive line. So they're going to have protection. They're going to be able to run the ball. The defense, though, was elite last season. This is one of, if not the best defense in the league last year, and they just got better. They go out and they draft Jahdae Barron in the first round, a position where it's like, I can't believe they did that. And then you look at the roster, it's like, wow, that was a really good pick. Him, Riley Moss, and Pat Surtain make up an excellent cornerback room. Brandon Jones really thrived in this system last year, former Dolphin. Love to see him doing well. Talanoa Hufanga they bring in. Dre Greenlaw they bring in. They just go out and pick up two of the best players available at those positions. I love that. Their defensive line is nasty. They run a 3-4. I mean, it's one of the scariest front sevens in the league, man. Zach Allen, DJ Jones, John Franklin Myers, Nick Bonito, Alex Singleton, Jonathan Cooper, Dre Greenlaw. That's an excellent front seven. This defense does not have a weak spot on it. Good luck scoring a whole lot of points against this team. It's going to be very tough unless they get unlucky and they have injuries, man, because their starting lineup is absolutely stacked. And they've got good depth, too. It's not just the starters. I loved Drew Sanders coming out of Arkansas. Big fan of Jonah Ellis out of Utah as well. They've got good depth on the defensive side of the ball. It's going to be a good team. This whole team, the entire Broncos season, completely depends on Bo Nix's development as a quarterback. Was last year the ceiling? Is that as good as he's going to be? Or is he going to take a step in his development this year and really light it up, man? Because if he plays well, this is an 11, 12-win team based on the roster. And they've got good coaches. If Bo Nix is stagnant and doesn't step up when they need him to, 8, 9 wins. Nothing incredible. They miss out on the playoffs again. Or, miss out on the playoffs this year. So it all comes down to Bo Nix, but I really like how well the roster is constructed. And I love the trenches. I love the trenches that they have built here. Number 7, I've got a team that actually made the playoffs last year, but then got knocked out pretty quick, if I'm not mistaken. They did. They were in the playoffs. I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. Still one of the youngest teams in the league. Guys, this roster is rock solid. This is such a good roster. I think Jordan Love is a ton better than people get. Was he crowned too soon? Yes. Did people say, oh my God, they did it again too soon? Absolutely. And he kind of fell back to earth last year. But let's not put him in the late teens as far as quarterbacks go. If he's not in your top 13 quarterback lists, top 15 quarterback lists, you're making your lists wrong. He's solid. He's very, very solid. Still has plenty of upside too. A stud running back in Josh Jacobs. And the upside in their receiver room is as good as anywhere else. I mean, this is such a non-elite receiving room, but such a high floor receiving room. Matthew Golden in the first round. They've got Reed, Romeo Doubs, Dontavion Wicks, Christian Watson. I mean, these are all guys that are solid. They continue to build just a wide receiver room of number 2s. They don't have a number 1. They hope Matthew Golden can be him, but they don't have a number 1, and they're okay with that. They've got 2 really solid tight ends, Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave. This team, I mean, the offensive side of the ball is just filled with upside here. It's all young players. They've got an excellent offensive line, too. I love their offensive line from left to right. I mean, Rasheed Walker, Aaron Banks, Elton Jenkins, Sean Ryan, Zach Tom, who they just paid. That's not even talking about first-round pick last year. Jordan Morgan, or second or third-round pick this past year. Anthony Belton out of NC State, who I was a big fan of. Really liked his tape. Really solid. Defensively, they've got talent, too. I mean, their front seven is absolutely filthy. It's just completely disgusting. You hope you get some more out of Lucas Van Ness. Not been a great first-round pick. But then next to him, you've got Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, and Rashawn Gary. That's an awesome front four if Lucas Van Ness can just start playing up to his first-round pick. Their linebacking core of Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper, and Isaiah McDuffie, along with Isaiah Simmons as a backup guy, excellent. One of the best. Loved Edgerrin Cooper. Loved him coming out of Texas A&M. And then a big fan of Quay Walker as well, man. Like their front seven can compete with just about anybody's. Your issue when you get to Green Bay and why they're not higher is you look at their secondary and they've got one guy that you're like, oh, wow, that's good. Xavier McKinney at safety. Great year for them last year. But outside of that, their safety or their cornerback room is obviously concerning. Right now, starting corners, you guys can see here, they're listed as Carrington Valentine, Keyshawn Nixon, and Nate Hobbs. And Nate Hobbs, they just brought in, and he's considered a nickelback. He's not even a boundary corner. So your two starting boundary corners right now are Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine. That's not going to cut it. That's just not going to cut it. But I'm not going to crush them for having one bad position. Most rosters have a position where you're like, ooh, that's not so hot. But everything else is solid. That's these guys. And what helps a bad secondary? A really good defensive line, which they have. So I think 7 is fair. I'm not saying Jordan Love's a top 5 quarterback, but I'm not going to say, yeah, he's not even really top 15. That's crazy. There's a ton of talent on this roster. Green Bay's going to be good again this year. It's just who they are. It's who they are. 7th best roster in the NFL, in my opinion, was a team that didn't even come to mind initially when I was thinking of this because in my head, these last few years, it's just been, well, they're the best of the worst, right? Yeah, of course they're in the playoffs. They play in the NFC South. Congratulations. That's nothing. Guys, Tampa Bay has built an awesome roster. This team is good. This team is good. Baker Mayfield has been excellent for them. Bucky Irving was an unbelievable find in last year's draft. Really was so good this past year. Their wide receiver room 1 through 4 is as good, if not better. I think it's the best in the league, 1 through 4. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin's first-round pick, Emeka Egbuka, and Jalen McMillan, who was awesome last year. He's their number 4. He could be a number 2 on several football teams. Cade Otton, really solid tight end. Their offensive line is excellent across the board. Tristan Wirfs, best left tackle in football, arguably, one of them. And then you've got Ben Bredesen, Graham Barton, Cody Mock, and Luke Gedeke. It's an awesome offensive line. Defensively, they've got stars at all 3 levels, and that's really what you want. When you have Antoine Winfield Jr. at starting safety, and then you've also got Jamel Dean back there, who's not bad at all. That's pretty solid in the back half. And then your linebacking core, you've got Levante David and Anthony Walker, which are solid linebackers to play up the middle. You still have Deion Jones, too, who was so good and then fell off. But there may still be greatness in there. You never know. They've got good pass rushers. Hassan Reddick, Chris Braswell as backup. Yaya Diaby's not bad. They don't have any sack artists. I don't think Hassan Reddick can do it like he did for Philly. So that may be an area of contention. And then their front of the 3-4 defensive line here with Vita Vea and Cal Cansey is just excellent. So they've got stars at all 3 levels of their defense, along with really good complementary pieces. This roster is very good. I think that this is far and away the best team in the NFC South. Sorry, Falcons fans. I hope that doesn't hurt your feelings too badly. Tampa Bay's roster is just so good from top to bottom. So I have them at number 8. For the 9th best roster in the NFL, I just know you guys are screaming at your computer screens, Bills fans. Where are the Bills? Where are the Bills? They have the 9th best roster, in my opinion. I'll give them 9th best roster. And I'll be honest with you, Josh Allen really elevates that. Josh Allen helps that out a lot. James Cook, he's not going to be as good as he was this past year. Let's just be honest with each other, okay? I know you want him to be. Let's just be honest with each other. He's not going to rush for 16 touchdowns again. It's so unlikely. Is he even going to play for the Bills? Who knows? He wants a new contract. They're not willing to give it to him. So I don't expect him to continue to do that. Their wide receiver room is also a bunch of number 2, number 3 types. Khalil Shakir is your number 1. Keon Coleman, Joshua Palmer, who couldn't do it last year with the Chargers. He was a real disappointment. Then you've got Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. Kincaid, kind of a bummer of a first round, man. He has not been that good at all. Dawson Knox is solid, so it's a solid tight end room. Offensive line is excellent, one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league, truthfully. I think I've said that a couple of times. It's up there, for sure, top 5. So that's solid. Defensively, I like Greg Rousseau. I like their defensive line a lot. How can you not? Greg Rousseau, Daquan Jones, Ed Oliver, and Joey Bosa with their second string defensive line in a 4-3, Landon Jackson, Deion Walker, TJ Sanders, AJ Epinesa. Rookie, really, really solid edge rusher out of Iowa from several years ago in AJ Epinesa. That is depth on the defensive line. That is depth. Not even to mention Dwayne Carter out of Duke from a year or two ago, who I really liked throughout the draft process. Joey Bosa, we'll see what they can get out of him. He didn't look great for the Chargers, but again, he's going to rotate with these other defensive ends. They've got so many. Linebacking core is really banking on health, especially from a guy like Matt Milano. But then you've got Terrell Bernard and Dorian Williams, who are very solid as well. And you look at the secondary, it's kind of weaker. Again, DeMar Hamlin's solid. He's not a starting safety in the NFL. He's just not. Taylor Rapp's okay. Again, not, in my opinion, a starting safety in the NFL. Their cornerback room is okay as well. It's nothing to write home about. I don't love their secondary. I just don't love their secondary or their receiver position, which is the two kind of skill positions. But again, you've got the second best quarterback in the NFL who really buoys that up. And also you've got an elite trench game. Your offensive line and defensive lines are tops, man. Just absolutely tops. So I'm going with number 9 because I just see a few other weaknesses in the talent of the roster that are there, not how well they play. I know the Bills are damn good. You don't have to tell me, Bills fans. I know. Shh, it's okay. But this roster is super talented. 9th best roster in the NFL goes to the Buffalo Bills. Down to the last one here to round out our top 10. I do want to start by giving you guys a couple of teams that were just misses that will not feature in the top 10. I'm going to start it off with the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I like what they're doing in LA. I really do. They've put together a really good team around Justin Herbert. It's hard not to love what they have on offense, especially second year for the Herbert-Ladd-McConkey connection behind really good offensive line. And then you add in Omarion Hampton and Najee Harris to that backfield. I think that's going to be really solid. However, the defensive side of the ball, I think, is what keeps them out of being one of the top 10 rosters in the NFL. I just don't like what I see here. Derwin James and Khalil Mack. That's really it. When you look at the defensive side of the ball and guys who you're like, okay, we got a plan for him. We got to know where he's at all times. It's them. I mean, Tuli Tuipulotu's an okay edge rusher. Deion Henley's a really good middle linebacker, but he doesn't strike fear in you at all. Their cornerback room, they haven't re-signed Asante Samuel Jr. He's still out there available. Their cornerback room leaves a lot to be desired. I just don't love the defensive side of the ball for them. And again, now, are they going to be coached up? They very well might be. They might play way better than this. But just on a pure talent standpoint, I don't love the defensive side of the ball. And you can't have one side of the ball where I'm like, I don't know, top 15 maybe, top 15. And then bank on just Herbert to carry the offensive side of the ball with a good offensive line. So from a talent standpoint, I think having them, in the 11-12 range is totally reasonable. That's my opinion. The other just missed team that I have to mention because I'd be silly not to, and this is a team that really I thought about at 10. This would probably be number 11, truthfully, with the Chargers at 12, and then Dolphins and Bears in there, but I'm not going to talk about them. Whatever. I got to go Minnesota at number 11. Again, it's a roster that made Sam Darnold look like a top 10 quarterback last year. The roster itself is so stacked. This offensive line is so good. I clearly am a fan of offensive lines. Christian Darrisaw, Donovan Jackson, their rookie first rounder this year, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, and Brian O'Neill. I mean, that's insane. That's so good. Not to mention the skill positions. Aaron Jones is still really good. They brought over Jordan Mason from the 49ers. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jalen Naylor make up a really solid trio of receivers. And then add in TJ Hawkinson, who missed a lot of time last year. But if he's healthy, he's one of the 6-7 best tight ends in football. Your only spot on offense where you have a question mark is at the most important spot, and it's at quarterback. More about that in a minute. Defensively, this defensive line, this front seven is just, it's mean. It is mean. Jonathan Allen, Harrison Phillips, Javon Hargrave fill out your front three guys. That's some beef. Good luck running against those three guys. And then off the edge, you've got Andrew Van Ginkel. Respect. Love me some Andrew Van Ginkel. And Jonathan Grenard, who is excellent. You've got good middle linebackers in Blake Cashman and Ivan Pace Jr. It's when you get to the back half of this defense, again, that kind of slows them down a little bit. Isaiah Rodgers, Mekhi Blackmon, and Byron Murphy Jr. are your starting corners. Jeff Okudah's in there, but he's never been the guy that people hoped he would be. I've got questions at the cornerback position for them. Obviously, they lost guys last year. They lost Cam Bynum, who was a starter. They still have Harrison Smith. How long can he do it for? I don't know. Apparently forever, man. Apparently he can do it forever. He's still very, very good, but I've got some questions about their secondary, which kind of drags down their defense just a little bit. And then the quarterback position. Are we sure J.J. McCarthy can do what Sam Darnold did? I don't know. I don't know, you guys. How can any of us know? He never, ever had to do that for Michigan. He never had to do that. I'm inclined to believe Kevin O'Connell can get the most out of him because that's what he does. Kevin O'Connell got Sam Darnold to look super talented last year. And with how good Darnold was last year, with all the numbers he put up, Kevin O'Connell watched him and J.J. McCarthy in practice and said, hey, we're good, Sam. You can go. You're only going to get $30 million a year, which is a bargain for quarterbacks nowadays. You're only going to get about $30 million a year. You can go. We're good. We're fine. It's like when Colin Cowherd said, hey, LeBron, it's okay. We're good. We got Ben Simmons, baby. We're good. Let's hope for Vikings fans it doesn't turn out like that. But J.J. McCarthy's the real question mark here. The whole season depends on him because we know this roster is good enough to win 14 football games because it did last year. So Vikings come in at number 11, leaving our final spot, number 10. And this is a roster that last year I clowned. I said this roster stinks. This is one of the worst rosters in football. I didn't believe in their quarterback. I didn't think he was going to be very good. I saw a lot of RG3 in him. And maybe it's just because of his style and the team that drafted him. But right now, as it stands today, going into the 2025 season, I've got the Washington Commanders with the 10th best roster in the NFL. Those are words I did not think I would say a year ago. A year ago right now, I was probably predicting them to win 4 football games and be picking 2nd overall, 3rd overall this upcoming draft and trying to build this roster. And they don't need to because they've done it. Jaden Daniels looked excellent last year. You hope he continues that progression. But even just what he did last year, you're happy. You're like, yep, we got this one right. Thank you very much. Running back Brian Robinson Jr. is steady. He's nothing spectacular, but he's steady. McLaurin, a great wide receiver. You guys got to pay him, Washington. Please do not let him. Actually, you should probably. No, because you're good now. I would say before you were good, let him go. But now it's like, well, you should keep him because you're actually a good football team. I don't trust Deebo Samuel. I'm going to move on. I like Zach Ertz at tight end. They went out and added the best left tackle available, Laramie Tunsil. How do you get him from Houston when Houston, I don't even want to talk about Houston. It's going to make me mad. Their offensive line is really, really good. Laramie Tunsil, Nick Allegretti, Tyler Biotish, Sam Cosmi, and Josh Connerly Jr., who they just drafted in the first round. Like what they're building here. Not many weak spots on this offense. And defensively, man, I got to be honest with you guys, Dan Quinn has done a fantastic job at bringing in talent and building this defense how he wants to. You've got Dorrance Armstrong, Deron Payne, Javon Kinlaw, and now Von Miller all on your defensive line. And that's not to mention Jerzon Newton, who they took early 2nd round 2 years ago, and Eddie Goldman, who's a really solid run-defending defensive tackle. Linebacking core of Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, and Dominique Hampton. Solid, especially Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner. 2 really, really good linebackers. Cornerbacks, you've got Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Sainristil, still really good. Quan Martin, really good safety at free safety. And Will Harris is serviceable at strong safety. I'm not going to mention the nickelback. I don't believe he's talented. Noah Igbenogany, I'm going to completely ignore him. But outside of him, this defense is really good, man, and they're well-coached. This is a well-coached defense, and they finally were able to go out and add some stuff to the offensive side of the ball. They're going to be good, guys. Washington's going to be good. They're going to be fighting for that divisional crown. A division, by the way, that has not been won by the same team in over 20 years. It's never been back-to-back. If I'm picking another NFC East team to win it this year, because history tells us the Eagles won't repeat, it's Washington, because this roster is just so talented. That's all I've got for you guys on the top 10 rosters in the NFL going into the 2025 NFL season. Please let me know in the comments where you disagree. I love going back and forth and commenting and talking to you guys and talking ball. It gets me through the days as we wait to get to football season. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you guys are not subscribed, you've got to subscribe to this channel. We are going to have so much fun this NFL season. There's going to be so much content dropped every single week of different things, fun things that we're doing. And we'll tell you all more about it as the season comes up here. We're about a month and a half away from games mattering. Cannot wait. And make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.